Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go, this is Valley News Live at noon.
New at noon, a construction worker died after falling 20 feet through a skylight covered in snow near Henning, Minnesota. Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Jordan Schreier. 63-year-old David Brutlag fell last week while working on a building in Otter Tail County. People on scene performed CPR to try and save him, but he was eventually taken to Tri-County Health Care in Wadena, where he was pronounced dead. New information on a deadly crash in Beltrami County, Minnesota. The State Patrol has now identified the victim as 61-year-old Francine Harum from Bemidji, Minnesota. She was killed after being hit by a coach bus that ran a red light. The crash happened on Friday just after noon. The driver of that bus has been identified as 48-year-old Jeffrey Seal from Thief River Falls. The incident is still under investigation and will be turned over to the county attorney, who will decide if any charges will be pressed. Taking that live look outside right now, it's another gray day, but it doesn't feel too bad. For what we can expect for the rest of our Monday forecast, let's head on over to Storm Team meteorologist Lisa Green.
Yeah, things are looking pretty good, especially to the east where temperatures are still on the milder side. We're in the warmer pocket of air there in Detroit Lakes at 30 degrees right now. Fargo, in contrast, just down Highway 10 is at 18 degrees, and it's 15 in Grand Forks. The cold spot is Langdon, and many of us in the south and southeast are into that warmer part of the valley, into the 20s there. Here's a look at your winds. They're fairly light at this point in time. We'll eventually see those winds become southeasterly. That should help us out temperature-wise. And you can see that on our radar and satellite map. First off, we don't have any snow to talk about, but also that we've got quite a bit of cloud cover here in the valley, especially in the southern two-thirds. Up to the north, we're getting some more opportunities at some sunshine there at this point in time. Here's a look at your hourly planner. Expect to have temperatures just working their way up and then eventually holding steady here as we head into the evening hours with clouds and that southeasterly wind keeping our temperatures on the milder side. So looking okay as far as travel is concerned for the holidays, and we're going to talk more about that, how your Christmas Eve and Christmas holiday look and beyond, coming up in your hour-by-hour planner and your extended forecast.
Look forward to it. Thank you, Lisa. No arrests have been made in a Minnesota shooting that killed one and injured 7 others. A fight outside a Thai restaurant in suburban Minneapolis led to the shooting just after midnight. Officials have said that multiple shots were fired, but it is unknown if more than one person fired a gun. They also said that the suspect is not among the victims and no weapons have been recovered. The person who died is a 19-year-old from St. Paul. This investigation is ongoing. It's an incredibly sad Christmas for one western Minnesota family after 2 brothers died and a child is in the hospital after a grain bin accident. 47-year-old Kurt Basel and his son were working on top of a grain silo Saturday in Millerville when they were overcome by fumes. Another son saw what happened, called 911, and then called Kurt's brother. 49-year-old Stephen Basel rushed to the farm and tried to rescue his brother and nephew, but he also fell unconscious. Sheriff's deputies say Stephen died at the scene and Kurt died yesterday at the hospital. The condition of Kurt's son Alex is not being released. The fallout continues from the grounding of the Boeing 737 MAX plane. The CEO of the company is now out of a job. Dennis Muhlenberg is now out as the leader of that company. The company made the announcement in the form of a statement which read in part, quote, "The board of directors decided a change in leadership was necessary to restore confidence in the company moving forward." The move comes 1 week after Boeing announced they were suspending production of the 737 MAX airplane in January. The plane was grounded after 2 crashes that killed a combined 345 people. Muhlenberg has been under increased scrutiny after documents surfaced showing that commercial pilots and the company's own test pilots raised red flags about the 737 MAX airplane. As we get closer to the first presidential primary, the Democratic candidates are descending on Iowa as they prepare for their final push. Morgan Radford has more on that story.
This morning, Democratic presidential candidates are flocking to Iowa, vying for support ahead of the state's caucuses 6 weeks from today. Pete Buttigieg, narrowly leading the 2020 race in recent Iowa polls, insists he's taking nothing for granted at a rally with actor Kevin Costner.
Some folks on TV starting to use the word front runner to describe our standing right here in Iowa. but that's something you don't get to keep for very long unless you earn it.
Joe Biden argues he's best positioned to unite the country, even after relentless Republican attacks led by the president on him and his son Hunter.
I refuse to accept the proposition in the United States of America that we're in permanent war in this country. There's not much we can't do if we do it together. We don't need all Republicans. We don't need to change the whole system.
Bernie Sanders rallying his supporters in Nevada.
The future of the planet rests in a very significant way on this election. Future of democracy rests on this election.
With President Trump's Senate impeachment trial expected to begin in January, Sanders is one of 5 Democratic candidates who are sitting senators, all facing the possibility of being sidelined from the trail as they weigh President Trump's political fate.
There are some things that are more important than politics. I took an oath of office to uphold the Constitution, and if we have an impeachment trial in January, I will be there.
The Senate impeachment trial could interrupt the campaign trail. Filling up your tank could cost you less as you hit the road for the holidays. According to the Lundberg survey, the national average is $2.60 a gallon. That's down more than 8 cents in the past 6 weeks. Production at refineries is also up, and inventories are bulging, making fuel cheaper. There's so much gas in the U.S. that retail prices are dropping, even as oil prices are up a bit. Gas prices are still higher than they were last year when the national average was $2.43 a gallon. In our consumer alerts, with all the gift giving that's going on right now, there most certainly will be some awkward moments when you don't like what you have been given, and you got to figure out what to do with it. Chris Clackham explains.
It may have already happened this holiday season. A gift you received just isn't you, and now what to do with it? The most popular option? Regifting.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with regifting as long as you follow the proper protocol.
And that proper protocol, according to Melanie Berlier with the lifestyle website The Spruce, follow 3 simple rules.
You first and foremost want to remember the original gifter to avoid regifting something to them.
To help ensure that doesn't happen, follow rule number 2.
You want to regift outside of your tribe or friend group, again, to avoid an awkward situation.
Then rule number 3, don't regift perishable items like foodstuff or...
I think you should avoid regifting anything that you believe to be outright tacky.
With the tacky, offensive, or just plain cheap gifts, donate it on the off chance someone else might think otherwise. Chris Clackham, NBC News.